Hey, 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 Speak Easy podcast listeners. This is your host, Altavi Spelzer, your voice manager. I unmute the voice of women who are ready to speak up about what has kept her silent for way too long. And this is another amazing episode. I'm gonna give you the warning ahead of time. Go get some notebook, paper, and pen because you're going to want to take some notes during this particular episode. Many of you have asked in the questions when it comes to entrepreneurship, can I do multiple things? Many of you have asked the question when it comes to listen, can I really do the things that I really, really love? Can I enjoy being an entrepreneur? And so I'm excited about this conversation today because for many, they thought that it wasn't possible, but our guest today shows you that it is. So with that being said, hello, Makeba. How are you?
Hello. Hi, how are you?
I am doing great. So I'm excited to have you on as a guest today. Let the studio audience know a little bit about you, and then we'll go ahead and dive into today's topic.
Well, my name is Makeba, and I want to let you know that I come from a diverse background. I'm a career changer. I started out in legal. I was a legal analyst for over 10 years. I was a school teacher, and then I decided to become a nurse. So I've been a nurse for the last 5 years. And to be honest with you, that's where I found my passion. My passion is, and I didn't know at the time, I just know that I wanted to help people more than what I was able to do in legal. And I was able to help children in education to a certain point. But then because of the confines, you're limited. I was one of those teachers that would show up at your door. Hi. So then, the kids would be like, "Oh, you got Miss Matthews. We're gonna act right. We're gonna behave this year." But and that gave me immense joy. But I wanted to do more. I really wanted to have a greater impact and really reach the communities. And in nursing, I'm able to do just that. Give back and be there and indulge in other things. Outside of just my basic career.
I love that because when we think about taking off the limits, some people, it's just the basic things, just removing the negative things that we say against ourselves, removing the negative mindset. So when you say taking off the limits, what has been the one major limit that you went and you took off of yourself in order for you to reach success?
The main thing that I had to keep telling myself is that I can do it, because believe it or not, as we're being raised, right? You're being told, okay, you're going to do this first, and you could do this. You can't be all these different things, but you can. You can. Life is about learning. So I had a zest for learning. And so people would say, well, you're all over the place. No, I'm probably one of the few people that have degrees in education. I have a bachelor's degree in political science, right? I have a master's degree in criminal justice. I have an MBA, and I'm an RN. So that's medicine, business, and law. That's so many. So I had to tell myself, you can do it. You just have to take little tiny bites. And before you know it, everything becomes part of a whole big picture.
I love that. Listen, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time.
Exactly.
One bite at a time. And I think that has always been a negative, connotation when it comes to even our kids in school. That's not something, they're not taught that they can be more than one thing. They're not taught that, first and foremost, they're not taught all of the different opportunities that are out there. So there's still many things that they miss out on. But even when, deciding to make that shift, there's a fear that comes with it because what will people say? What will they think? Will people still want to, connect with me? Especially when we think about entrepreneurs. So what would you say to the entrepreneurs who are, that fear is kind of creeping up because they've said, you know what, I kind of feel like I want to make this shift, but ...
Well, what I would tell them to do what I did. I did the shift in my head. Everything starts in your head. So even before I started my group, it had been an idea in my head for almost 4 years. And I know that sounds long, but again, I was breaking into a new field. So you're kind of learning, you have to allow yourself that learning phase, and then you have the other thing that's paying your bills and fueling your ambition. But you have to learn, you have to take that time to learn. And as I was beginning to put the pieces together, and by the time I had finished up with my BSN, it was like game on. I was ready.
Let's go.
Exactly.
Now let's talk about this group that you created. Okay, so give us a picture. You had an idea, and then you said, you know what? I'm not going to make it a class. I'm not going to make it a book. I'm going to make it a group. Like, what did that look like for you?
What it looked like for me was a bunch of healthcare workers coming together and uniting. If you work in healthcare, if you know anyone that works in healthcare, what you'll notice is we have like little conglomerates, little packs. You have your CNAs, you have your nurses, you have your MDs, respiratory therapists, phlebotomists. That's a lot of people. And we all are providing care, and sometimes for the same patients, So how are we showing up in this space? How are we showing up? And then we're trying to work together, and this is what's going on. Because the CNA feels like the nurse should do more. The nurse is not understanding where the CNA is coming from. The nurse is dealing with the doctor. We're dealing with the respiratory therapist. So what happens is we're constantly doing this instead of stepping back and understanding we're all trying to complete the same goal, right? We're not going to compete with each other. So in order to get the job done, we got to stop this. And how do you show up like that? How do you begin to break down the walls of communication? Well, we have a group and we talk about it, and as we get to see that we all experiencing the same thing, the group is called Scrub Life Forever. And the name in itself just epitomizes the whole idea. Once you put those scrubs on, your life is forever changed. You can't unsee death. You can't unsee, a patient who happened to code on you. That stays with you forever. I don't care if you're a CNA, a nurse, a doctor. I can remember every patient that has coded, every patient that has gone bad. And so what happens? We internalize this, right? So I don't see it different as a nurse. The CNA doesn't see it different. So what's the problem? We all need to work together, accomplish the goal, embrace each other, heal, because we do suffer with post-traumatic stress syndrome. And we can help each other. So that's how that looked in my head. So I said, okay, now how am I going to bring this to fruition? And I just put it out there, and I just started saying, hey, invite all your healthcare worker friends, CNAs, respiratory. I don't want just nurses. I interact with nurses all day. I want all of us to be here sharing and helping each other heal.
I think that's a big piece of it too, that healing part, because there is so many things that they go through. I know we often talk about caregivers and we think about home health aides and we think about them, but the reality is that when we look at those who are in the medical field, they are caregivers. Whether we like it or not, they are caregivers. And some of them are first responders, because they are the ones having the conversations with people about their health. They are the ones who hold the information when it comes to the diseases that are going through our generations. Like, they hold the key to everything. And so if the ones that are holding on to everything and have, the key to be able to help us, if they're not able to connect and support each other in a positive way, it does make for an interesting dynamic for all of us that need the support that comes from each and every one of you guys.
Yes. And as a result, sometimes you can even see breakdown in just trying to care for the patient. You know what I mean? Because we haven't learned how to talk to each other. We haven't learned how to work as a team. I know what our guidelines are. You're the CNA, you report to the nurse, blah, blah, blah. But it's bigger than that. It's bigger than that. Because I may have, like, for instance, the doctor might write an order. We want to, push more calories. But I can't get, let's say, Mr. Johnson to eat. But guess what? Samantha can. Because Samantha's going to walk by and be like, did you eat your food? All right, here. Come on, take another bite. You see, and he'll eat for Samantha, but he may not eat for me. And he's definitely not going to eat for that doctor. You know what I mean?
Got me over here laughing because I'm like, yeah, because when the doctor come in, you don't want to do nothing for the doctor. The nurses got a better chance of getting you to say yes to some things more so than the doctor sometimes. Unless you have a better relationship with the doctor. Now, this is not all doctors. Those the doctors that listen to the Easy podcast, I love y'all. I'm not I'm just saying that this is what goes on. And we think about it because there's a disconnect. There's a huge disconnect. And so I applaud you in what you're doing, because even when we look at everything that's going on in the last year, there's been a disconnect, because there's the people that have the information. There's other people that have it and are sharing some bit of the information, but we don't know if it's all of it.
Right.
And then there's the people that are left clueless, that are just sitting there going, it sounds good, so I guess we're gonna go with what you said. So I love that you said that. It definitely shines a light on the medical industry as a whole, because we are definitely in a place where there are some things that need to change. There are conversations that need to be had, and some of them are going to be hard conversations. And it's in unifying you guys together that those changes and those conversations can happen. I absolutely love that. So with Bring It, and I'm going to dive in a little bit, because I know the Speakeasy listeners are going to say, what kind of stuff do they talk about in this group?
Oh my goodness. Our group, we talk about some of the trials and tribulations in nursing, right? Just in general, and providing care. We encourage each other. We do community outreach. And the reason why people are like, well, you guys give so much of yourself already. Why? I'm sorry for moving my camera. But why would you engage in community outreach? Because we show up for the public different in community outreach. We get renewed. It's a rebirth. We see people, relatively healthy in community outreach. So if we're, doing something for the men's shelter, that gives us joy. We connect with humanity different. So those are the types of things that we talk about. We have social gatherings, now, but it's a little bit harder now with coronavirus, but we'll have, sometimes I'll be on the phone with 2 or 3 other people in the group. People might be having a hard time, a rough time, and I've had them reach out to me because of everything that's going on with COVID. It's been amazing how we've all been forced to rely on each other. I had a nurse happen to call me up crying, and I'm like, it's gonna be all right. I'm gonna stay right here on the phone with you. And she was like, I can't see one more person suffering. And I was like, but just imagine what state they would be if we weren't there for them. Because we're scared too. We are scared too. But what do? We kind of say, come on, we got to push through. We got to put our mask on. We just got to, try to keep our immune system healthy and push through for the people that are dependent on us. So those are the kind of things that we talk about. And then we make a lot of jokes, a lot of laughing.
I'm sure y'all see some shenanigans on the day-to-day. So I'm sure that there's a ton of memes that go on in that community. Because just sitting as the patient side, sitting in an ER or standing, just the things that come through, you just go.
I'm gonna tell you a little something. I had went on an interview yesterday because I'm thinking about maybe transitioning to something else. When we do this in nursing all the time. So I went on an interview and I was like, oh, I don't even have shoes, because I'm always in my, especially with coronavirus. I was like, do I even have shoes? And my husband was like, calm down. You got shoes. I'm like, okay, let me see if I can find them. I don't know how many pairs of sneakers. I don't know how many pairs of nurse shoes. And then I said, I don't even have anything to wear on the interview, because I'm always in scrubs, like literally. But anyway, I managed to find some shoes, and I went on the interview. So I'm being interviewed, and the director of the department, it was so funny. And she was saying that she was off. She just happened to just be talking. And she's like, I was off the other day and I had on flip-flops and it felt so weird. And I said, well, my feet are killing me in these shoes. So, so at the end of this, we're all going to need a bunch of makeovers. We're going to need some help.
Right? Some support.
Yes.
True support. Oh my goodness. I love that. And I love that you said that there was a piece of it where you going back out and helping in the community was, kind of a rebirthing for you guys. It was a refreshing because as entrepreneurs, a lot of times we get stuck in the day to day. We get stuck in the clients and marketing and ads and social media and networking and like all of these things that we
Yes.
forget that if we just step outside of ourselves and show up for someone else, that does renew what it is that we said we wanted to do. I know throughout the pandemic, I was able to go ahead and connect with the pandemic food distribution. And, we were handing out food in Delaware. And it was just like,
You felt good.
it felt good, right? It feels good. It makes you say, okay, there's help, there's support that we can, give other people. And I think right before Christmas Eve, we did one.
Oh, wow.
So right before Christmas, we were able to go to a motel in Delaware, in Wilmington, and hand out gifts, food, um, gloves, hats, all types of stuff, masks. Um, and there was clothes there, like it's crazy because the whole motel was full. They were at full capacity, and there were families there. And that really like shifted some things for me for the holidays because I was like, wow, we had Santa there. Santa pulled up and had his chair outside so kids could take pictures. And it was just like, wow, yeah, you know, we get into a habit, like I said, of the things that we are dealing with, and we forget that there may be somebody who may be worse off. There may be somebody else who's dealing with something else that's another struggle.
Yes.
And we could be the help for them. And then that it renews us. So I absolutely love that you said that because it spoke to, as entrepreneurs, us going outside of what we're doing sometimes and kind of shifting some things.
Mm-hmm. Yes, definitely, definitely. I didn't realize how much I enjoy community service. When I worked in legal, it was a whole different realm. You were on call all the time. I'm working late. We're how can I even say this? We're killing ourselves to make this money. And I made a lot of money in legal, very cushy, sat down, high power job. But the thing is, you're constantly like chasing the next deal. The next deal comes up, we're working around the clock. So, I'm coming out 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. Do I have time for community service? Is there any place you go? You're not even thinking in that, you know what I mean? You're not even thinking along those lines. So, but I knew that I wanted to do more, and I was feeling empty, really feeling empty and not really being able to connect with people in a different way. I didn't like the person I was becoming. It served its purpose. Don't get me wrong. Any lawyers listening, I love you guys. Don't come for me. But but just like you said, just having that whole thing of feeling renewed and just feeling like purposeful and feeling connected and grounded, and appreciating what you have and the sacrifices that your family made to get you where you are now.
Yes, indeed. And so, okay, so with everything that you've done so far, what's next? Like, I see so much. I see like a big nursing conference. I see all of this stuff, you know what I mean? To a nursing retreat.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. The next thing what I would like to do as soon as the world opens up fully and we get a little reprieve as nurses and healthcare workers, I would like to have a social, for us to come and meet, and then perhaps build my board, begin to build my board of directors. I have a few people that I have my eye on now that are moderators and admins, and they give a lot to the group. So of course, I would give them the opportunity and just help me take this group to the next level. You know, right now we're at 988 members. And I know because they have other groups out there that are like 100,000, you know, but 988 is way more than I ever imagined, way more. I remember when we started, February was my anniversary. It was a 1-year anniversary. I remember when we started this group, I had 50 members and I was like, yes, you know. So, you know, at 988, I was like, oh, I'm about to pass out. But, you know, you just feel the love of the community and just doing bigger and better things and having those partnerships with other groups, you know.
I love that. I think that is going to be powerful. Yes, Speakeasy podcast listeners. Yeah, we've been on punishment long enough. I think it's time for us. We've been on punishment long enough, right? But when the world does open up, I think, you know, we are going to be looking at some other opportunities opening up. We're going to be looking at some other ways that we can go and support others. And listen, if y'all did not look at somebody who is a first responder and say thank you, your mama need to put you over her knee right now. Cause listen,
right, yeah.
Your mama, need to put you over her knee right now. Because it was the simple things. Going ahead and being able to provide lunch for some nurses, you know, different ways that people were helping all throughout the pandemic, is really warmed my heart because again, you guys are moving and shaking and doing some things that other people we don't have the capacity to do. And that's real. So, Speakeasy podcast listeners, this has been an amazing episode. I'm so thankful that you guys tuned in. Make sure that you let us know how this episode resonated with you by leaving us a review on your favorite podcasting platform, or you can come join the conversation, bit.ly/World Voice Community. Makeba, let them know how they can find the group and how they can find out more about you as well.
We are primarily on Facebook, Scrub Life Forever, Scrub SCRUBLIFE, the number 4, and then ever. So Scrub Life Forever. We're on Facebook. We are on Instagram, but our main group is on Facebook. And then also we have a page on the website, and it's Scrub Life Forever. Again, SCRUBLIFE forever. And you can read about us. I just recently wrote a book to help support funding the group. And the name of the book is Reflections of a Nurse. And I happen to have a picture of the book here, Reflections of a Nurse. And half of the proceeds go to funding the group healthcare workers. So for healthcare workers. So check us out.
Y'all definitely want to go ahead and get a copy of that book. Go and support, guys. That's what this is all about. Because guess what? You got some great nuggets in today's episode, and that's the way that you can pay it for. Make sure that you go ahead and get a copy of the book. With that being said, I appreciate you guys with another episode of the #Speakeasy podcast under our belt. I'm your host, Altavis, and until next time, don't forget to press it out. See ya.
Thank you. Thank you.